Welcome to the Joy Inspired podcast. I'm Nikki Cruise, and I'm thrilled to explore with you what it means to walk in a faith-infused business. This is your space to find powerful tools and insights to build with resilience and to create impact through your unique purpose, discovering a joy that only God can provide. Together, let's embrace a business journey anchored in faith and empowered by joy. Let's jump in. Hi, it's so good to be back with you this week. It's me, Nikki Cruise, that crazy lady. Right here back in your ears with another power-packed episode of the Joy Inspired podcast. Well, today, episode 18, we are going to stomp down one of those really big topics, one of the sneakiest, simplest, slimiest little traps in entrepreneurship. I know there are many out there, but this is a big one. It's one that we seldom admit to, and we often don't realize that that's what's going on, but we see the outcome. It's comparison. Yeah, that one that makes us feel like what we do isn't good enough, and that our God-given lane is suddenly just not worth it. Just because somebody else sparkles or seems more together, or we see that amazing view of them on Instagram. But hang on, before we get too deep into that, let's take a look at it from a different perspective, because so often we don't like to admit that we are standing in comparison. So I've got a story for you. I'm being from South Africa. I'm going to tell you a story about a jungle talent show. Well, Nikki, what's that got to do with entrepreneurship? Give me a break. You know I'm a little quirky. So just imagine that deep in the lush, vibrant jungle of Africa, the animals are all there preparing for the annual jungle talent show. There's so much excitement everywhere. There's glitter vines, banana confetti, and zebra judges setting up to judge. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Now, the monkey comes along and he is feeling so confident. He's got all the tricks. He's been juggling and practicing all year. And he's worked so hard. And he's like, this is my time to shine. And then as he is practicing, he looks over and sees Miss Peacock. She is strutting her stuff. All her feathers are out, and they look like they were dipped in royalty and then kissed and blown on by heaven. And mid somersault, some monkey freezes and says, maybe I should have worked on my glow up instead of my trick, and mumbles as he walks into the corner. Ever looked at another one and felt just like that? Then, next up, Caterpillar's working on his inchworm dance, and he's moving around when he suddenly sees Miss Butterfly land, her wings spread in full glow-up glory. She's sparkling, she shines, her colors are uniquely mixed and matched, and it sounds like a symphony soundtrack as she lands. You know that feeling when everything stops and everyone's attention is drawn to someone else? And Caterpillar sighs. Why should I even try? I'll never be that beautiful. And all of a sudden, where there was so much excitement and enthusiasm, so much positive energy, the jungle is just deflated. And people's dreams are dissipating. And their identities are confused. Animals are canceling their entries left, right, and center because they are staring at somebody else's God-given lane. Can you relate to that? Perhaps it's easier for us to put it in story form because we don't like to admit that we are standing in that space of comparison. So here's the thing. Comparison kills clarity. When we begin to start comparing ourselves to others, we lose the focus on our vision. And let's remember, God doesn't do copy and paste. He made you individually on purpose, for purpose. And Psalm 139:14 says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. It doesn't say you're casually and copycatedly made. Comparison is the trap that tells you that someone else's calling is so much more valuable than yours. But you don't know, and I don't know what assignment is attached to their anointing. We also don't know what warfare comes with their wings and their colors. We've got our own unique assignments. And the moment we begin to compare, we dilute the clarity of what God has given us to carry because it is unique. He wants us to carry that uniquely with our unique personalities and styles. Like I said a moment ago, I'm often a little quirky. And, there are times when I've tried to stuff that down, and I can hear some of you laughing, going, yeah, just a little. I've tried to stuff that down. I've tried to be who I'm not. So let me just tell on me for a second. I once tried to be that peacock. And I went into an event, with new colors, new hair, new camera angles. I even tried posting before the event, like one of those serious boss babes on LinkedIn. You know what? I ended up looking like I was constipated and confused at the same time. And why? All because what I was trying to do was out of alignment. I was mimicking instead of ministering. I was pretending instead of positioning myself in the lane God had called me to. I think we've all done it at some point or other. And I think we get so distracted and focused on other people's stuff. So, what do we do instead? Well, first of all, we get to appreciate who we are and recognize the season we are in. When we look at recognizing our season, what do I mean? The caterpillar wasn't meant to fly yet, but flying was certainly in his future. You may not be meant to stand on that stage and be that big yet. It doesn't mean it's not in your future. And Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to everything there is a season. So as we go through, instead of looking at other people and looking at other businesses and other callings and going, oh, I want to be there, we get to recognize where we're at right now. Where you are now is perfect. That is where God is meeting you. But even in that time where you are in that place of growth, doesn't mean you don't celebrate those that are already in that place. So that monkey could have quite happily celebrate Miss Peacock. It wouldn't have taken away from Monkey's role and personality. You can celebrate others without shrinking back yourself. And it's important to do that. It's important to be encouraging one another because there is no competition in the kingdom. Genuine love, genuine kingdom living has a place for all of us. And when we get to celebrate others, we lift ourselves up, we lift the kingdom up, and we lift other people up. And Romans 12:15 says, rejoice with those who rejoice. So celebrate with those who are celebrating. You don't have to shrink back because of it. The greatness they have doesn't take away from the greatness you have. And then make sure that you are staying in your God-given lane. No one can beat you and be better at being you than you. In Galatians 4, verses 5 to 6, is written in the Message like this: make a careful exploration of who you are and the work you've been given, and then sink yourself into that. Focus on what God's called you to do, on your purpose. Don't get distracted and shrink away or become disillusioned like the caterpillar. Where you're at and what you're working at is perfect. So if you've been sitting for so long and looking at somebody else's feathers, somebody else's wings, somebody else's glory, it's time, my friend, to get back in your tree, your nest, your cocoon, whatever it is, that is the place you are meant to be, so that you can become who you are meant to become. Don't dare despise small beginnings or your journey to becoming. That is there for a reason. That is beautifully and wonderfully designed by God. So whether you're juggling bananas, spinning webs, or just learning to flap your wings, there is a space for you to shine in the kingdom. It doesn't matter whether you're taking huge stages or talking one-on-one to somebody. It doesn't matter whether you know all your scriptures off by heart already, or if you're just starting to get into the word. So you get to take the space that God has called you into in the kingdom, right where you're at the moment. And in case nobody's told you today, you are doing better than you think. We always doubt ourselves. Time to celebrate ourselves. So if this got you fired up, if this stirred something in you, it made you look from a different perspective at yourself, I encourage you to share it. Tell other people. Share this with somebody who needs the reminder that they are made in their own unique greatness. Because that trap of comparison, sometimes we don't think that's what's going on. And it comes out in fear and us withdrawing and pulling back from what we are called to do. And you know what? If you're ready to go deeper into discovering your God assignment and your God aligned lane, hop into the Jump membership, where we joyfully unleash a more powerful purpose without pretending to be somebody else and without pretending to be that peacock. So till next time, stay joyful, stay purposeful, and please stay in your God-given lane. Let the peacock be the peacock, and you just be you. Thank you so much for joining me on the Joy Inspired Podcast at www.joyinspiredpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, and you don't want to miss it. So make sure to hit that subscribe. I am so grateful for all the reviews and comments, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.